The last few days we celebrated the Theophany. Some people call it Epiphany, but the more proper name is Theophany, or the showing of God and Father, Son, and Holy Spirit at the baptism at the Jordan River of Jesus Christ. And every year as we are celebrating this beautiful feast, great feast of our church, we many times will concentrate on explaining what it is, this holy water that we are going to partake in, we're going to bless, we're going to spread in our homes, how we use it, if there's any difference, and so on and so forth. But we sometimes forget to explain or to talk about the actual events of the baptism of Jesus Christ at the Jordan River, which is extremely important for us to understand, because today we see things differently than how they were back then. First and foremost, we know that John was at the Jordan River, John the Baptist, and he was baptizing people for forgiveness of sins. And for us, we say, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful thing for somebody to be there baptizing other people. Hundreds and hundreds of people would come for the baptism of forgiveness of sins. We think that's just blissful and wonderful. However, we forget very quickly that in the days of Jesus Christ, there was no forgiveness of sins in any other way than going to the temple in Jerusalem for forgiveness of sins. It was not correct and illegal according to their faith to ask for forgiveness of sins and to be granted forgiveness of sins in any other way than the ceremonial way they had prepared at the temple in Jerusalem. This was, of course, something that caught the ear of the people of the temple of Jerusalem, and reminds us, first and foremost, that baptism is not, the whole event reminds us that baptism is not or was not a Christian thing in the beginning. We did not create, we did not invent baptism. Baptism existed before the baptism of Jesus Christ. In other cultures and in other religions where they would use some form of a baptism or a washing with whatever prayers or statements they would use for initiation or for cleansing or forgiveness of some sort. And John the Baptist is using it for a different reason, and that is for forgiveness of sins. And only after the baptism of Jesus Christ, where we see the Holy Spirit descending upon him, do we have baptism for the forgiveness of sins, for life everlasting, grace of God falling down upon us. But that moment of John the Baptist baptizing for forgiveness of sins is illegal according to the Jewish tradition in their faith. And so the leaders of the temple come to the Jordan River. For most things they would never show up. But for this thing they come, and we know how important it is in their faith, because later on in the gospel we see that Jesus is sitting in a home, and all of a sudden he hears something on the roof, and then all of a sudden he sees a little bit of light coming through the roof as they are taking apart the roof, and then all of a sudden they see a person and some people, and he sees them descending or lowering down a paralytic man, and he says to him, "Your sins are forgiven." And I always speak about how disappointing it must have been for the people who brought the paralytic man, and for the paralytic man himself, when he's expecting a miracle or hoping for a miracle to be able to walk again, and the first thing Jesus said to him is, "Your sins are forgiven." I know that I would have been disappointed, my friends would have been disappointed, and you would have been disappointed if that's the first thing you've heard. But Jesus says, "Your sins are forgiven," and though their disappointment is going to be obvious, around him, the Pharisees especially, are very quick to jump on Jesus Christ and say, "Who are you to forgive sins? Only God can forgive sins." And so, immediately we see how important it is that there is a ceremonial way of forgiveness of sins. You have to go to the temple, you have to do it this way, and that's about it. There is no other way. Not the baptism at the Jordan, which is why in our gospel reading today, we heard how quickly they arrested John after the baptism of Jesus Christ, and Jesus goes off into another land so that he begins his ministry. And the leaders take him away and arrest John, that is, so that because he was doing something wrong according to their faith. And so, this brings us to our understanding of what's going on there. First and foremost, we have a beautiful sacrament of our church, a beautiful belief in confession, which is for forgiveness of sins. We don't have to bring animals and we don't have to sacrifice them anymore, but we do have to sacrifice our own ego and be humble, and we are asked to ask for forgiveness for our sins, to speak about our sins, to pronounce our sins, and then obviously there is a prayer at the end of forgiveness of sin, and there is a discussion usually between a spiritual father and a person who has come for confession. And that is a beautiful thing because it is like a doctor and a patient. When you have a sickness, you go, maybe something, the sniffles like I had this morning, the sniffles, I won't go see my doctor. But if I start going on and on, it gets worse and worse, and then I will go and see my doctor. And we should do confession once a year, twice a year. If there's something that pops up in our life that we all of a sudden feel we need to get it off our soul, we do something, someone does something with us or to us, and we are responding in a negative way, it's a wonderful thing to go and to speak with a spiritual father in confession and to confess our sins. But it also reminds us that we are called to seek God in other ways and to ask for forgiveness from God in other ways. And what is that way? In personal, informal confession of looking within your own soul every day, what it is that you are doing or have done or did or will do or thought of, and remembering it on that day and preparing yourself to change it on that day or the next day. Because when you come in December before Christmas for your ceremonial confession, and hopefully it's not ceremonial, you come prepared, thought process has gone through and you are contemplating what it is that you want to say, but many times by then you have forgotten what is going on today. And so the personal confession should be part of our daily life, asking for forgiveness from God, and more importantly, asking for forgiveness from those people around you. When you leave it, it festers. When you leave it long, it becomes a problem. When you leave it too long, you stop speaking to that person, and you are angry with that person and yourself, and then it becomes very difficult to change. The point of theophany, though, is that we see that once again, God does not do things in the way that we expect him to do. God did not do things the way that the scribes and the Pharisees expected him to do them. A virgin birth, a crucifixion on the cross, a resurrection, all of the miracles and all the things that he was doing, the baptism at the Jordan River, is another beautiful example that our Lord God is not going to do everything the way we expect. And he expects us to use every way we can for his ministry, for his glory, and to save our souls. And that includes constant confession, constant looking within ourselves, constant improving our souls. I pray that the waters of the Jordan fill your lives not only with repentance and with confession, but with hope. That our Lord God is a God who is going to do whatever he is going to do, no matter what you think, no matter what you expect. He is going to do whatever he is going to do for our salvation, and he already did everything that he was going to do, no matter what, for our salvation. And that is a hope that keeps us going always as